an analysis by the Fourth Estate has revealed that 9 out of 55 ministers and deputy ministers have failed to comply with the law and the president's directive. Similarly, 8 out of 32 presidential staffers and 37 of the 84 heads of state institutions appointed between January 15 and March 18 are yet to meet the president's anti-graft directive as of April 17, 2024. We'll speak to the former Auditor General, Daniel Domlevo, in a bit, but first, let's tell you what the president said when he gave them an ultimatum to declare their assets.
Modesty and prudence must be the guiding principle upon which you, myself, and our Vice President fashion our governance. The people of Ghana will hold us accountable for the trust that they have placed in our hands. It cannot be business as usual. We must be transparent and fair in all our dealings. The anti-corruption institutions will be empowered to investigate and deal with any appointee who falls foul of the law. I expect all of you to begin the process of declaring your assets. The Chief of Staff will announce the cutoff date by which time all eligible appointees should have deposited their assets declaration forms with the Auditor General.
Well, we'll get details of that list, but now let's engage former Auditor General Daniel Domlevo, who is joining us via Zoom. We're grateful for your time, sir, on News Desk.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
I assume that you've acquainted yourself with this list. What comes to mind when you realize that government appointees haven't really declared their assets as they're supposed to?
Thank you very much. The first thing is that this is gross indiscipline and disrespect for the president. And in my considered opinion, the president should do the needful by dismissing all of them without exception, because the president made a public announcement which was followed by a directive from the Chief of Staff. This is not how to reset a country. If the team that is going to help the president manage the affairs of the country is so indisciplined, they don't have respect for the president, I think the axe must fall immediately. Should clear all of them. There are about 33 million Ghanaians and several capable people who can do the work. So I don't take this lightly at all, and I hope the president does not take it lightly as well.
Yeah, Mr. Domlevo, so I know that the president gave a directive, but what internal control mechanisms do you suggest, or would you think that government should have gone through to ensure that these appointees declared their assets?
You see, the Constitution, which actually requested for the declaration, Article 286, which requires that they declare their assets and liabilities to the Auditor General before taking office and after 4 years and when they leave office, does not prescribe any punitive measure, except that under Article 287, non-compliance with the declaration is supposed to be reported to the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. In my considered opinion, it is CHRAJ, or Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, which started this, creating this environment for indisciplined behavior, which has culminated in what we are hearing or seeing today. Because if the Constitution says that before you can take office, declare your assets, and people are found to be in office years after without declaring their assets, to me, the logical consequence or the logical step to be taken by the Commission is that you are occupying office unlawfully, so vacate the office. But always what we hear is like, go and sin no more, including Chief Justice and Justices of Supreme Court, electoral commissioners, and etc. They were all left off the hook That is why the indiscipline has continued up to today. I have always said that whenever there are no consequences for misbehavior, impunity takes over. And that is what we are seeing today.
Right. Mr. Domelevo, kindly stay with me. I'll come to you shortly. We'll get to hear from you, being a former Auditor General in that position, what should be done. But let me go quickly to my colleague, Kwekwa Asante, who's with our Legal Affairs Desk, to take us through that list of appointees, who haven't declared their assets, and also take a look at the law and what it says. Kwekwa.
So if you look at what the president did say early this year, he says, I have instructed the Chief of Staff to send word to all appointees to ensure that they declare their assets by the end of the first quarter of this year, that is by 31st March 2025. That is long gone, and so many of his appointees have failed or refused to comply with the directive of the president. And specifically, if you look at the data as we have been mining from this RTI request that did go to the Judicial Service, there are about 8 presidential staffers on that list. 8 persons who are presidential staffers, some of them very senior. Look at the name, Nathan Kofi Boakye. He's Director of Operations at the Jubilee House, and he was appointed on the January 15, 2025. He was with Mr. Domelevo on oral committee. Setekpa, a former finance minister, is a presidential advisor on economy. He was appointed on January 21. He has not declared. Nana Yajantwa comes on this channel sometimes. She's a presidential staffer, also appointed in January, has not complied. Samuel Ofosuampo, the former NDC national chairman, he is a senior policy advisor at the office of the vice president. He has also not complied with this directive that the president gave on this matter. Then it goes on, there are very higher ups persons like 4 regional ministers and then 5 sector deputy ministers who haven't done so. If you look at the deputy ministers, Broja Jemfi, the Deputy Minister of Defense, was appointed on March 12. He is well within that deadline that the president gave for this thing to be done by the end of March. He hasn't done that. Alasan Suhini, MP for Tamale North, Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, appointed March 12. He hasn't also done this. Rita Odole Sowa, Deputy Local Government Minister, hasn't also complied. John Dumelo, MP for Ayawasu West Wogon, appointed March 12, 2025, has also not complied. And then Charity Gardner, the Half Regional Minister, hasn't also complied. And then there are a plethora of other state institutions, about 38 of them who are on that list who haven't done so. Right. This is what the law says, and you've heard Mr. Domelevo refer to it. It says, a person who holds a public office mentioned in the Act shall submit to the Auditor General a written declaration of all properties, assets owned by him, all liabilities owned by him, whether directly and indirectly, and it shall be the responsibility of the officers to make the declaration, and that is to obtain the requisite forms to do so. And the declaration shall be made before taking office. That is the law. And in fact, there are those who have said that even the president breached that, because when he submitted his own declaration assets to the Auditor General, he had been in office for several weeks and in close to 2 months when he did make that. And then you ought to do that again at the end of every 4 years. And that's so, Mamesi, that is what the law says. These are the persons who have breached the directive of the president and ultimately the law. And that is why Mr. Domelevo is calling for their head.
Right. So, Mr. Domelevo, you've been in that position before. This is what we are learning. Ideally, what should the Auditor General do?
Has no mandate to sanction anybody. The Constitution puts that squarely in the hands of the Commissioner for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. But these are constitutional provisions, and I don't think we can tamper with them. As for the Auditor General, his is to administer or receive the declarations and acknowledge it as such. But then Article 287 says any non-compliance should be reported to the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice.
Right.
So it is the Commissioner and his team who have let us down from my point of view, because their argument is that there is no law which prescribes punishment for them. But it is as simple as, if, Mamiesi, you are told that before you come and read the news, put on a jacket or wear a shoe, and you are not wearing a shoe, management must discipline you. Is that not it?
Sure.
This is a constitution requirement. Can we one day wake up and see a president who says, look, I have already been voted into power, so I don't need to be sworn into office. As for me, I'm going to start as a president. We tolerate that type of behavior. There are so many things required of public officers by the Constitution. If we allow them to go this way, then the impunity will continue. So that is why I blame the Commission for Human Rights for the soft-handedness with which they have handled this. And let me repeat my call again, that the president should let the ask fall immediately, irrespective. In fact, the presenter said Nathan Kofi Boakye is a member of the oral team. I'm sorry, we should not look at faces. It should be a matter of principle.
But do you think that the Auditor General should be given some, punitive, should be empowered to have some punitive measures to ensure that public office holders adhere to the law to declare their assets?
Well, let me say, wishes are not horses. Even if I wish for that, the Constitution does not provide for it, unless we are going to amend the Constitution to say that the Auditor General can disallow the existence of those people in office. I'll be very grateful. If the Constitution is going to be changed to say, look, anytime it comes to the notice of the Auditor General that people have defaulted in declaring their assets and liabilities, he shall inform the president for them to be removed from office. Or you should just disallow their existence in public office, especially their payment on the payment of their salaries and benefits. I think it will be fantastic. But I think under the current circumstances, the Auditor General has no mandate to sanction anybody. The only body which is close to that mandate is the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, who to me have let us down. They should hold the bull by the horns and recommend that, look, Mr. Minister, you don't respect our laws, leave office. So that if the president fails to implement it, then we know it is the president who is encouraging lawlessness.
Thank you so much, Mr. Domlevel, for your insights into this conversation. We're very grateful for your time.
My pleasure.